He took it so far as every day when I showed up to rehearsal and then again to the performances, he made me pay tribute to him. I ended up losing $500.
With Bob is every night's to me. And it often revolves around breathing. You know, when I get to a point in my little short quasi-monologue, I need to breathe. My monologue is over.
We were on tour. Outreach to Trinidad. Lo and behold, 2 days later, he completely lost his voice, and we didn't know what to do. Well, we had two choices. We could either hire a ventriloquist with a dummy, or use John Barber. It was the final performance here in Theater Works. His grief threw me out into the audience and I broke my wrist. But it's okay.
I remember one day showing up for rehearsal and I saw Bob. I said, "Hi Bob, how you doing?" And he didn't say anything. He just gave me this cold, icy stare for a few seconds. And then he said, "Kneel it or feel my wrath."
He points at the musician, and of course that's me. And every performance it got harder and harder. Eventually he was making dents in my cello.
Bob and I have a real connection. It's almost like a father-daughter sort of connection. And I remember during that production, he just did the nicest things for me all the time. He brought me flowers. He would undo my costume for me at the end of the performance.
Just hit me in the side of the head and knocked me.
The thing about Bob was that he could not wait to get into those big Franken boots that he would wear in that first scene. Boy, he loved those things. He would prance around in those things. He was just like a little magic pony.
Yeah, I do want to say that. He's got a huge ego. Gigantic ego. The shoes, the ones that made him 7 feet tall. Because it was in his contract, he had to be taller than everybody else. He's got no limits on it.
I have a lot of memories working with Bob. He really helped me out doing this. I played the fool, and it was no big deal because Bob made me feel comfortable.
By the way,
Bob was very helpful to me in my playing of Goneril and actually in a lot of different parts because he never let the fact that there was some other director stop him from giving me some line notes. He's like that. He'll correct me anytime he gets a chance. He gave me fatherly advice. He'd give me voice addiction notes, and he'd spank me.
Comes from the professional. The harder you get, the more of a compliment it was.
It wasn't restricted to any particular location. I didn't feel safe anywhere. Safely. And all of a sudden I was face down in the bok choy with little birds revolving around my head. This one time I ran into him at Wild Oats, not long after the show had ended, and ran into him in the vegetable section. Walked up and said, "How you doing, Bob?" "Up yours, recreant!"
Mess up on the line, doing the play, and beat me like a bald-headed stepchild.
He is a true genius. He really is a master of his craft and nothing less. And I'm so grateful to have gotten a chance to be a part of any of the shows.
To thank all the cast members of Lear who volunteered for that video. Made it a lot easier.
I'll say a few words about Bob. I feel like I've been talking about Bob for a very long time. Bob, it feels like Bob is a guy that we've known all our lives. I certainly have. And that we've been saying goodbye to for a long time, too. He was ill, as many of you know, for the last 5 years of his life, and 4 years of his life. After Bob did Christmas Carol in 2005, he really couldn't act anymore. And at that point, he couldn't get on stage. He just physically wasn't able. And at that point, it was like Bob really began to say goodbye, because as soon as Bob couldn't act, he wasn't really the Bob Pinney that he wanted to be, and that he really was. This is a man who really lived for the theater. He lived for many things, but he lived for the theater. And I knew him first in 1980. When I saw him, I think, at Whit Anders was reminding me at a production of at Star Bar Players. And I'm sorry to say I can't remember that production. But I remember Bob. And I remember thinking, oh, this is the guy that I really need for our Shakespeare Festival. TheaterWorks was 5 years old at the time. And we were just starting Shakespeare. And I wanted him to play in Pericles, and it's actually even before Shakespeare in the Park. And at that time, Bob Pinney was, by my chronology, 48 years old. And he already seemed very old to me. And the first part I cast him in was Old Gower in Pericles. And I noticed from this very imperfect record that I've constructed for you here, that he's been playing old guys ever since. Amazing amount of old guys. And Bob came in, and I had initially a very strange relationship with Bob. Because, as you know, he was a formidable character, and he didn't suffer fools gladly, and he didn't suffer impertinent young academics like myself gladly, and we got off to a rocky but, working start. And after that, Bob, as you notice from this chronology, there are a number of, I constructed this afternoon, and from very imperfect records, and there are a lot of gaps in this fossil record. Already, I've noticed about 4 shows, like Death of a Salesman, Rope and Mecca. Somebody else can help me with some more.
The Scottish play.
Yeah,
Second Pericles.
The Scottish play.
The
Second Pericles. Yeah, there are at least half a dozen shows that are missing here, and I'll try and correct those, actually, and get them all in there, because Bob deserves a complete record. But this will give you some idea. I mean, I think it's already, here it's already 42 shows and 15 Shakespeare plays. That's a lot, in 25 years. That's an awful lot. And Bob kept working for us, and one of the great things about Bob is that I think after about 50, he started just getting better and better. I mean, this was a really impressive thing. I remember that when he did the first Grapes of Wrath, he told me afterwards that it was a breakthrough for him. And I think he told me it was a breakthrough because I left him alone during the entire very rare. But he found something in the Reverend Jim Casey in Grapes of Wrath that went right back to his Wyoming past, a past that most of us didn't know anything about. He grew up on a ranch in Wyoming. And most of us didn't know an awful lot about that Wild West Bob. He always was kind of elegant and pinstriped and tidy, and seemed to come from the East Coast, and listen to opera and make ham, and that country, that old Western Bob. But boy, it started coming out, and this hawk-like, resonant character started developing. He started to get able to be very quiet on the stage. And Bob was as you know, a very special kind of actor. As you could see just from this, and all of you will remember this very well, he had amazing tools. He had these amazing hands, these fantastic hands, the best hands I think I've ever seen on an actor. They were big and they were expressive. And then he had this wonderful stage body, tall and able to do many, many things. And then he had these deeply expressive eyes. When he looked at you on stage, or you caught a glance, I mean, boy, you felt something coming out of you all the time. And he was he also had deeply responsive face. Everything registered on him. When something happened,